my New Yorker daughter. So I have this whole other life in my head that I'm actually this little New York socialite that doesn't work and walks around the city. And I will get back to doing that again, I promise you. But for 6 years, I've been a New York mom. And so when Kara came home, it was like, I need my New York bagels. And anything locally just didn't cut it. We stumbled on Just Bagels. We ate them right away. They were sold out. We couldn't find them. They're often sold out. If you go to QVC.com right now and search Just Bagels, you're going to see wait list, and on. Why? Because they are the best bagels you're going to have sent to your home from the Bronx. They're official New York bagels. And it took us a while, well, actually not that long, because these guys are actually newcomers to our food world, but we finally have Janie and everybody watching our first ever Just Bagels Today's Special Value, and they have been on fire. So popular, we had to add another ship date and go right to auto delivery, because if you're in auto delivery, it doesn't matter what is sold out. You keep getting your bagels, and they will stay in the freezer for a year, but that's hilarious because they do not stay in the freezer very long. Okay, so here's your choices. If you want to get, which has been the most popular, the sweet favorites, you are going to get that sent to your home either now on the 8th, the 15th, or the new 22nd ship date of February. And if you're getting the sweet favorites, you're going to get 6 plain, 6 blueberry, which my husband and my daughter had this morning, 6 French toast, and 6 cinnamon raisin, which I had half for breakfast this morning, and I will have the other half tomorrow. But
I ate my whole one.
Did you? Then we also have the core favorites, and it's all about the everything bagel. It is my favorite bagel that our wonderful friend Cliff does. So we've got that. We have something really cool if you haven't tried it any yet. Energy multigrain, of course 6 plain, and a mom favorite in my family, 6 sesame, and then we have 24 plain. So here's the thing, I would get plain, well, I would get all 3, but and you can share. But Janie, you at least a plain and one other, and this is our first ever Today's Special Value, so we had to do something fabulous for you. It's actually the lowest price per bagel we've ever done. We've never had 24 bagels from, again, Just Bagels at this price. So you can get 24 plain, 24 core favorites, 24 sweet favorites. When do you want it shipped to you? How about bill to ship to that person that is missing their New York bagels? Because there is a difference. I miss being in my daughter's apartment and getting fresh New York bagels. And guess what? I don't have to miss it anymore because I now have that at home, and highly recommend bill to ship to for a great gift, or again, locking into auto delivery. We have an update for everybody. If you want the immediate ship weight, we are now most limited, and that's in all 3 choices. And the most limited flavor is plain for all ship weeks. And that is, Janie, my tuna melt. I love a good tuna melt.
I can't believe you just said that.
Why?
Because my sister, of course, lived in Queens for many years. And there was a place that we used to go to on the corner of this little town that had one of the best bagels, New York bagels I've ever had, with the tuna and the cheese.
There it is.
Open face.
There it is.
Oh my
There it
gosh. I love it.
Score. All right, so Cliff Nordquist is joining us. 800 people just jumped on the phones. Cliff, you know you were talking to 2 of your biggest fans here at QVC, Jane and Jane, and it's so exciting that you're here with your first ever Today's Special Value, and obviously America's been waiting for you, Cliff.
Hello, Jane and Jane.
Hi,
and yes,
Cliff.
I'm just thrilled to be here. How are you today?
We're doing great.
How are you? Oh my gosh.
I'm doing great. I love the tuna melt also. That's my favorite as well. And it's funny, Jane, that you mentioned a bagel store in Queens growing up, because I hear that all the time. That's the beautiful thing about bagels. Everybody has a favorite store and a story when they were growing up.
Yeah, but it's always New York, right? I mean, I'm sorry. It's got to be New York as a New York mom. So now, Cliff, if you know, Janie spent a lot of time in New York. I'm a displaced New Yorker. Can you explain to everybody what a New York bagel is all about? Because if it's not made in New York in this way, you're just getting a puffy round roll, right? So let's talk about your bagels and what makes them so different.
Okay, well, Just Bagels does 5 steps. Very critical to making a great bagel. Many people do a couple of steps, 2 steps, 3 steps, but we do all 5. And it starts with, of course, New York water from the Catskills. It's the best water. It's a soft water, perfect to make a crust and a chew. And then it's the ingredients, okay? It's the malt, the molasses, no artificial colors, flavors, preservatives, unbleached, unbrominated flour, kosher ingredients, no trans fats. Then we actually age the dough, that's walk-in box right there, for 10 to 12 hours where the yeast marries the dough and, creates that fermentation and skin. Then we actually boil the bagel again and we bake it on a hearth steel plated oven, cool it down a little bit, put it in the 6 packs, and ship it out to all you guys.
Love it. And so explain everybody, and Cliff, I am going to interrupt you and correct you because I always do this, but explain to everybody what happens when we get our Just Bagels home, as now 1,000 people, Cliff and Jane and you at home, are attempting to get their bagels sent to you. So tap that app, and you can also order all your ship dates and your auto delivery at QVC.com. So how do these arrive?
Oh, that's a critical question because this is not your supermarket bagel that lasts for 30 to 40 days. Can you imagine that?
No.
Right. I mean, it's crazy, but when you get this bagel, you have to put it into the freezer, okay? I mean, if you're hungry, of course, you could eat 1 or 2 of them, but I recommend putting it in the freezer right away. It's good for a year in there. That's never going to last.
Never.
But then take it out, thaw it for 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Preheat your oven to 450 degrees if you really want that Sunday experience. Bake it for 5 to 8 minutes, till it's a little crispy, a nice little snap on top of it, and you really have something special. If you're in a hurry, microwave for 20 seconds and toast it.
Right.
Almost
And we're always in a hurry. So that's what we do. Janie, I'm going to go through options again, and then we're going to check in with Jane Brown. Here's what I used to tease Cliff all about, because Cliff would say, when you get them home, put them in the freezer. I'm like, no. When you get them home, you get one out for yourself, and then you put it in the freezer. So here are, which is our best selling right now. Everybody is all over it. The sweet favorites, you're getting 24. So that's going to be 6 of the plain, the blueberry. My favorite in this sweet collection is cinnamon raisin, and then the French toast bagel. We got to dive into that in a little bit, Cliff. Over here, we have your core favorites, and this is a must-have, especially if you're making that tuna melt, or the other favorite New Yorker, a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich on an everything bagel, my favorite thing in the morning. So we've got everything. We have this really cool, we'll dive into this too, energy multigrain, the plain, and then sesame, but the 24 plain. Limited in not only what we can ship out right now, but in all our other ship weeks. And when we got our first shipment, oh my gosh, we could not believe how good they are. It really felt like I was in my daughter's apartment, and we just ran to the little store in Manhattan and brought home bagels. We've had 34,000 ordered since midnight. But you guys, Cliff is often sold out. So get it while we have it as our today's special value. And we have a quick update for everybody. The sweet favorites, oh my gosh, they sold out in the immediate ship week. So now we can get it to you on the 8th, the 15th, or the just added 22nd of February. Get it. Okay, Janie had her hand up.
That's not bad. I mean,
no, it's not that long. February is next Monday.
Yeah, it's next week.
Yeah,
so it's fine.
No big deal.
But here's
no
the deal. When you get them home, this is what they look like. So you've got them all fresh, ambient temperature. And then once you take out the one that you want to eat immediately, like Jane said, do yourself a favor and cut the other ones, cut them all and put them back in the bag and then put them in the freezer, because then every time you want them, whether it's a half like Jane had, or if you want the whole thing, it's already split and you can put it in the toaster or do the oven method like Cliff suggested. Most of the time I'm in a hurry, so I have them pre-sliced, I put them in the toaster, and they come out delicious.
Perfect.
You get the ability to do fun things like this. This is a tailgate favorite of our family, and that is the schmear with the smoked salmon, Jane, the capers, and the onions.
Signing up.
You were talking about your mom. This is one of my mother's favorites.
Aww.
With the bagel. So again, it lives on with Just Bagels today, Cliff.
And Cliff,
everything's better on a bagel.
Everything. And the emotional connection, right? We don't have this connection to sandwich bread. We all have this emotional connection to your bagels, right? Can you chat about that as I'm making a bagel BLT? Woo!
That's the most amazing thing. I talk about it all the time, the calls, the emails, the passion that people have. And I'm going to tell you what it is. There are bagels everywhere. Everybody has had a bagel. But, the bottom line is they're not very good. And, when you taste something that has no preservatives, nothing artificial, no flavors. It's not heavy and dense. It doesn't lay in your stomach. It has just such a nice flavor. It just puts a smile on people's face, and they can't help but call me and email me about it. I'm amazed by it. I really am.
Well, you earned it. And you deserve it, Cliff, because they everything we are saying multiply by 10, because that's how good these are, right? This morning, my husband had the blueberry, and he was like, "This is such a good bagel." And I mean, Jane and I grew up outside of Philly. It's not like we're in an area that doesn't have bagels on pretty much every corner. There's such a difference. So I'm going to show everybody what we have available, because we've already lost an option, and it's a little bit past noon. And then you can also make bagel butterflies. Do you guys know what that is? So we'll talk about that in a second if you've got a little picky eater. So first of all, 24 sweet favorites. They are flying. We are going to do my favorite, the cinnamon raisin, hubby's the blueberry, the plain, and then the French toast. So can we dive into that French toast for a second, Cliff? Because this has been the most popular, and now we're getting limited across the board, especially with this first immediate ship date.
Sure. People really like the sweet bagels, I see. But the French toast is excellent. You don't want pancakes, ditch those, no sticky syrup. This French toast has maple syrup, cinnabutter, cinnamon, French toast bits, a touch of vanilla. And then of course you add the malt and molasses, aging, and New York water. When you bake it, the whole house smells like French toast. And it's just something different and, really satisfying for breakfast, lunch, dinner, brunch. You can do anything with that.
It's funny. I love the smell and the taste of French toast, but I don't like the texture of traditional French toast, right, Jane?
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? So this is like that flavor, but in the crunch on the outside and the soft on the inside bagel.
That would be good with the bacon on top. Like bringing out a little sweetness of that
Everything's
maple.
better with bacon.
Yeah, I have
Bagels and bacon.
Got some bacon.
Yes.
And we're really busy.
You know what?
What?
Bagel bacon. Bacon bagel.
Bacon
Uh-oh.
bagels.
Here we go.
Uh-oh, Janie.
You heard it. Hey, drop the mic.
That was Janie. That was Janie
heard it
over there.
Oh,
Woo!
boy.
And then these are the savory, but we call them the court classics, and you cannot go home without this, because if I could do a sandwich, the bacon, egg, and cheese. We did the family tuna melt like we did earlier, pizza. It's got to be on an everything bagel. You also have your sesame bagel. That toasted in the morning with a little peach jam is to my heart. Plain, everybody gets 6 plain. But can we talk about this one? Because this was a new guy for me, the Energy Multigrain, Cliff.
Sure, absolutely. The Energy Multigrain, we created, it doesn't exist. You won't find it anywhere else. We created that bagel roughly 20 plus years ago.
Wow.
And it's basically like, you don't want a protein bar, a snack bar. This is a light whole wheat bagel with rolled oats, cracked wheat, sunflower seeds, raisins inside, 11 grams of protein, just, light, it's just delicious. Everything tastes great on it. And it's one of our most popular bagels throughout the country.
And then speaking of popular, 24 plain. I think like in fashion, Jane, will say get black and another color. This is get plain and another flavor profile, because the 24 plain have already sold out and what we can ship out right now. But like we said, February 8th. February seems a long way away. It is next Monday. So we're maybe like a week and a half away from shipping it out to you.
When's Easter this year? Because you probably for an Easter brunch want to wait for the February
Excellent.
22nd.
Oh, that is a
Excellent.
great
Ship
point,
week?
Jane
Yeah.
Brown. Love that.
Jane, you've made some good.
I know. But I'm just going to go home.
suggestions today. Very good. Slicing. I get a lot of calls about the slicing.
Yeah.
I always like to say real bagels aren't sliced, but I know people like to slice them.
It's
It
convenience.
does make it easier.
Yeah. And it's because you don't
Minis
always
are
want the
sliced.
whole one. And just like Jane said, sometimes I
Exactly.
will only eat half. So I don't necessarily want to take out the whole thing, Cliff, and defrost it. So I just think it's one of those things, especially if you've got kids in the house. And
Absolutely.
I would hate for the kid to waste a half a bagel. So if it's pre-sliced, then they take out what they want. If they want another one, they can always pop that in the toaster. But the ingredients and the process, I think, Miss Jane,
Right.
are really what make the difference.
Right.
And the fact that this is a bagel that can be frozen and heated and still taste just like it was literally just baked. And they're about $1.18 per bagel with this offer. So, I mean, you can't go to
No.
even the local donut shop and get a bagel for $1.18.
No, absolutely not. I have to thank QVC for that. I could not make that happen. without the help of QVC. You know, to put this whole thing together at that offering with premium bagels. This is not just, you know, there's 4 or 5 premium bagels in here. I'm very appreciative of QVC for giving me this opportunity to bring it out to